So in the past few years, of course, it was quite challenging years. Indeed, as the negative impact of COVID crisis has been unprecedented for the aviation industry. So there has been a time point that Lufthansa almost went bankrupt.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard this special episode of the Made in China podcast. Fasten your seatbelts and get ready for an insightful journey with today's guest, Qian Chen, representative of Lufthansa Group Airlines Greater China. In today's flight, through the conversation, we will navigate through the turbulent skies of the aviation industry and explore the prospects beyond. We have been looking forward to this episode for a long time and are delighted that Qian has taken the time for us. She and Damian report live from Shanghai, while I, Thomas, join them from Germany. If my voice sounds a bit sleepy, it's 3 a.m. in the morning. Today we're talking about the aviation industry in recent years, the differences between the Chinese and German markets, and the best holiday destinations in China and all over the world. Sit back and enjoy the sound of a dizzying flight, podcast, I mean.
Made in China. Von der Werkbank der Welt zum größten Konsumentenmarkt und Technologieführer. Eine Reise durch das Leben, Business und die Kultur im Reich der Mitte mit Damian Maib und Thomas Derksen.
Okay, let's start. So, we are very happy today to have an old friend of mine in our podcast today. And we met through Marius Berlemann, who is working for Messe Düsseldorf in Shanghai. And he also was guest in our episode number 84. I just checked it. Episode number 84 from 28th of June, together with table tennis superstar Timo Boll. So I went to an event from Messe Düsseldorf, and then I met Qian Chen, who is responsible for Lufthansa, for the whole business of Lufthansa in China and Greater Asia. What exactly you're doing, you will tell us later. But as for now, a warm welcome to our podcast.
Thank you very much, Thomas.
Yeah, you and Damian, you are now in Shanghai. You have had a nice breakfast. From my voice, maybe everyone can hear. I am in Germany and it's 3 o'clock in the night in Germany, but I'm very, very happy to join you guys for this interesting talk.
Thank you for getting up so early and to be with us together this morning.
Exactly, Thomas. That's the commitment.
So normally we start our podcast with a little game. You heard our podcast episode, so you know what what is awaiting for you. So Damian, let's start the game.
All right. Yes. Welcome to the podcast. Let's start with the first question. Münster or Shanghai?
Shanghai, of course. But if you put Münster here to Düsseldorf, maybe I will choose that.
Going out or staying in?
Going out.
Fast food or fine dining?
Oh, a bit depending on the situation, but probably fine dining.
I guess so.
So this question comes from my heart. Go to bed early or stay up late?
Stay up late.
Train or plane?
Plane.
Vacation to do a lot of things or a vacation to do nothing?
Oh, again, quite difficult for me to answer depending on what kind of vacation I am going. So I would say most probably going vacation for a lot of things.
Being able to fly or read minds?
If I could read minds, that would be nice.
Or not so nice, who knows? So, first or business?
Business.
Window seat or aisle?
Oh, this really depends on. So for shorter flights, usually I take aisle. But for the long flight, I usually take window seat.
Okay. Early check-in or last-minute rush to the gate?
Okay, that's clear, right?
I think Thomas can probably read mine, so usually I will be the one the last minute to rush to the gate.
Okay, for me, I'm German. It's definitely early check-in, 2 hours prior to the airport.
This is the guest we love.
Exactly. Yeah. For me, it's the German mind, but the last minute check-in nevertheless, because something comes in between. Great. So, well, the last couple of years have been quite challenging for everyone, especially if you're having a kind of international life between travels between Germany or China and America and so on and so forth, especially for the aviation industry. Right, so there have been some setbacks, but also a lot of great success stories, like the German Chamber charter flights that you have organized during the pandemic, that helped a lot of families and businesses to really continue business and reunite families and friends. Can you recap a little bit on how the last years have been for you personally and professional as the representative of Lufthansa Group Greater China?
Yes, thank you. So first of all, maybe I need to correct a bit. So I am the chief representative of Lufthansa Group Airlines in Greater China. And so in the past few years, of course, it was quite challenging years. Indeed, as the negative impact of COVID crisis has been unprecedented for the aviation industry. So there has been a time point that Lufthansa almost went bankrupt. I think this is unimaginable for most people because Lufthansa is usually financially solid and also prudential. When the crisis broke out in China in January 2020, I was responsible for the call center at Lufthansa Group Airlines in China. So after the flights to China were cancelled, we experienced a significant increase of requests from customers who either eagerly look for ways to go back to their home country as soon as possible, or they wanted to refund their tickets. So in order to balance the urgency of the customer request and also the limited local servicing staff, so I approached our service center network globally. And within very short time periods, we were able to set up a mechanism where all the tasks which needs local language will be handled locally, but everything else will be handled via a global network 24/7. So I think this is a strong teamwork and also leverage Lufthansa Group advantage as a global player. As you mentioned, AHK charter flights. This was organized by German Chamber China and Lufthansa jointly. And in 3 years' time, this charter flight carried nearly 10,000 passengers. Where mainly, of course, a German company's representative and their families in China. It was an air bridge to connect both economies and in the most difficult time periods of international travel. So I think professionally, the last few years were really full of dynamic changes. And my team and I have learned really how to navigate through complexity, chaos, and also confusion sometimes. And how in this environment really to act decisively, even without having very clear directions and a lot of uncertainties. And I think I'm very proud to say that we maintain effectiveness during constant surprises and lack of predictability, also in extreme conditions such as Shanghai lockdown months. Privately, I think it was a time really with significantly less international travel requirements. So I have more regular sports time and also have time to pick up new skills such as playing tennis.
Wow, that's good. So a lot of people learned a lot of things. I started losing weight during COVID, so also some good things happening there.
Oh, so, yes, of course.
Recently, we just had some very good news. The people from Germany who come for tourist or business to China can come to Shanghai or to all over China without a visa recently. So how is the situation now? What do you think? When can we come back to the pre-COVID level with regards to flights and passenger numbers?
So first of all, I think what you have mentioned about this visa-free entry policy for 5 European country citizens as well as Malaysia, this will for sure help also China to boost its inbound travel, both for business and tourist purpose. And so if we recall this year on the 8th of January, China opened the border for international travel, and Lufthansa Group already had the first non-quarantine flights landing in Shanghai Pudong International Airport on the 9th of January. And so that was a very emotional moment. And we also at the gate celebrated the coming guests with a rose and also, of course, very warm welcome. So in winter schedule now, starting from November, we currently actually operate 48 weekly flights from from 3 gateways, Shanghai, Beijing, and Hong Kong, to our Lufthansa hubs in Frankfurt, in Munich, in Vienna, and in Zurich. So this is approximately about 60% of pre-pandemic level. And I believe, so the further resumption and also expansion, maybe also of new services from to China, depends a bit on the market dynamics. But China will become the world's largest aviation market in the near future.
Well, and now that foreign tourists are coming back to China again more and more, what would be your top 3 recommended destinations to go?
This is a very difficult question to answer, as I really love travel a lot. And so I think first of all, I think for the first-time visitors to China, I would still strongly recommend the 3 gateways which I have just mentioned, namely Beijing, Shanghai, and Hong Kong. Because in Chinese, there is a saying, if you want to see 100 years of history, go visit Shanghai. If you want to see thousands of years of history, go and visit Beijing.
Yeah, interesting. So now it's very easy to travel again. And so we talked about it before. You have a very huge responsibility, especially during COVID, and you're the first Chinese and also the first woman on this position responsible for Lufthansa's business there. So at first, congratulations. And also I asked the question to you, German or English, for everyone who knows you personally. You know, you also speak very, very good German, right? So you can tell us a little bit more why you speak so good German. So tell us a little bit about your career path. How was the way to your current position? And it started a little bit also in our common alma mater, Muxiao, at the Ruhr-Universität Bochum, right? You also studied there.
All right. So exactly. So actually, I speak also German because I have spent almost 7 to 8 years in Germany and started with my exchange study at Ruhr-Universität Bochum, where Thomas and I found that we have some lapping over there. So afterwards, actually, I moved on to Düsseldorf to do my internship, first and second internship in Düsseldorf. And afterwards, there is an opportunity which came up, namely joining Lufthansa as a management trainee. And however, the location will be in Frankfurt. And so at that time for me, it was really because I think Lufthansa Group is a very international brand. And also the advantage is in Frankfurt, there is direct flight connection between Frankfurt and Shanghai. And so for me, it will be very easy to go home. So my original plan was to stay there maybe for 2 years at Lufthansa. But of course, now it turns already 14 years this year. And so it has been a very long journey with Lufthansa. And I think for me, I'm very grateful for these experiences because without Lufthansa, I think I would be a different me. And Lufthansa has provided me with different opportunities also along the career path. And so I was a couple of years based in Frankfurt, and I was also working in London and in Singapore, and now since a couple of years in Shanghai. And of course, from the functionality, I have also done a variety of different jobs, including I was in cargo business segment, I was in passenger airline segment, and also a bit in Lufthansa maintenance segment. And so this provides me a very good overview of the aviation industry as a whole. And besides that, I have also done revenue management. I have done products, and I have done strategy. And I was also a couple of years doing consulting with Lufthansa Consulting and as a business unit. And so I think this is, in short, my career path. And what it has provided me is different view of the culture and different working experiences from different angles. And this is making me where I am today.
Yeah, and Thomas already mentioned it. So how does being the first Chinese female leader influence your work with your team and colleagues?
Yeah, so I think first of all, of course, it sounds very special, right? To be the first Chinese and to be the first female leadership in this position. But I think first of all, the time is changing. So nowadays, also within Lufthansa Group, we have more female leadership as well. So I think this is just the developing trend. And the second about Chinese nationals. So I really also think it's very important. First of all, it's my passion to really build Lufthansa brand in China successfully, because both are really at my deepest heart. And the second is, of course, I also try to explain to headquarters what's happened in China, what are the Chinese consumers' behavior, because I think for any businesses to be long-term successful in the local markets, you need to understand local markets as well.
And we are very happy that we have you here. Also a call to action to all our listeners. We always want to have strong women in leadership in our podcast to tell about their work in China and with China. So very happy to send us an email or send us a message on LinkedIn with recommendation. And also you, Chen Chen, you can also recommend good female friends from you to come to our podcast and share their knowledge and their experience with us.
I'm happy to do that.
So you already mentioned the work with the headquarters. How different is the Chinese passenger or your Chinese customer to the ones from Europe maybe? And how is it challenging for you to explain the Chinese market and the Chinese customers to your German headquarters?
I think on one side, of course, Chinese market is different. But so are every market actually for an international aviation group at Lufthansa. However, I think there are several things which are really unique in China. For example, the e-commerce world. So if you don't use super apps like WhatsApp, Ele.me, Meituan, Hema, on daily basis, you will need time to understand why they're important for the Chinese people's daily life, and also what are the commercial value behind these apps, because this just don't exist in the Western world. On the other side, I also observed that the efforts, especially to explain Chinese market to German headquarters, was during pandemic periods very big, or bigger than before. And I think this doesn't only apply to my industry, but also a lot of German companies representative here in China. Because China actually didn't really stop to change during the pandemic, and the market was highly dynamic in that 3 years as well. So although there are lots of advanced technologies to have, for example, virtual meetings and even virtual visits, but the messages just came through very differently if there's no physical exchange with the people. So there's a Chinese saying, 百闻不如一见. So seeing something once is better than hearing about it 100 times. So therefore, I think it is really important now to invite headquarters again to Chinese markets to experience it themselves.
Yeah, I think so too. And I mean, this is now, given this 15-day visa-free policy, it becomes easier than ever, right? You can just book a flight next week, be here for 2 days, fly back.
Exactly,
right? There's really no excuse for anyone not to come.
I fully agree with you.
Fantastic. Yeah, and you know, Thomas has a dog. He's called Einstein, a very beautiful Labrador. So we found out Lufthansa is publicly known, of course, for passenger flights, but you can also fly dogs. You can also fly parcels. So you have a Lufthansa cargo group. From Shanghai to Germany or worldwide. So what is more important in terms of numbers for your business in China? Parcels, cargo, or passengers?
I think the answer is both business segments already are very important for Lufthansa Group in China. So Lufthansa Cargo, actually they played a very important role in China, especially during the COVID crisis. And our cargo businesses, they provide, of course, general cargo. But apart from that, they also provide very dedicated air transport solution for almost every commodity, including live animal, as Thomas, you have mentioned, as well as fine arts, like really the art collections. We can also make sure that they go home very safely, and also the temperature sensitive items, usually for the pharmacy industry. But Lufthansa Group, it's not only Lufthansa passenger and Lufthansa cargo businesses. Lufthansa Group, it's really a diverse aviation group. So in China, we also have very successful activities in aircraft maintenances. And we also have business units, which is providing IT and financial services in China.
Oh, wow. So you have a big team in China and working on all this stuff. And also one part you already mentioned is e-commerce. So e-commerce, this is what Damian really likes. So can you talk a little bit about how do Chinese tourists typically book their air tickets? Is it through third parties like some apps, or directly with Lufthansa, or still offline travel agencies still a thing in China? I know in Germany my parents, they still go to a travel agency in Germany and book their flights and trips through them.
So the source of booking in China is still very diverse. The Chinese passengers, they do book, for example, tickets on Lufthansa Group airline website, on apps. So on these channels, Chinese payment methods have already been made available to Chinese customers, such as China Union Pay, Alipay, and WeChat Pay. But there are also a lot of Chinese tourists, and they prefer to use third parties, such as online travel agents, OTAs, or offline tour operators for tour packages, depending on their travel needs. But I would say that the Chinese travel market is certainly also becoming more mobile and also more digital. Nowadays, I think it's very hard to find a pure offline travel agency. They all have digital tools.
Yeah, and how important is social media and marketing for you, and which tools do you really use? I mean, at the breakfast this morning, we already talked about a couple. So yeah, let's dive in for our listeners.
So social media platforms usually play a very important role to inspire the travelers even before they make travel decisions. And for Lufthansa Group, we understand the social media environment in China is different from the Western ones. And therefore, already since a couple of years, the three airline brands of Lufthansa Group, which operate in China, namely Lufthansa, Swiss International Airlines, and Austrian Airlines, they all have in China their official WeChat and also Weibo accounts. And last year, we also started to open Lufthansa WeChat video accounts in China because we observed that short video become a main trend here locally. Yeah. And in terms of, for example, marketing tools. So for us, it's very important to really bring the right messages to the target audience and also facilitates the brand image. And I'm talking about 3 different brands. We differentiate them. So it's very important to make sure that this brand image can be remembered by the target audience. In the recent years, so we always customize our marketing messages to different customer group. Leveraging tools such as CRM, as well as the customer data platform. And our marketing tools, of course, also evolve with technology development. For example, now the AI can already create very sophisticated content within seconds. Of course, you still need a local team to make sure that the content really deliver what you want. But they, of course, increase a lot of efficiency in their daily work. And metaverse was also very popular, or is still very popular in cities like the first-tier cities in China. And Lufthansa Group also took advantage during pandemic to launch a campaign which showcased amazing destination to the audience when they cannot travel at that time. And that was a very great success as well.
And now we live in times where everything connected to the environment, connected to transportation is ongoing a really big transformation. So what do you think worldwide? What will be the aviation industry be like in 10 years? What changes will happen? What innovations will we see in your industry?
Yeah, so I think you already mentioned the keywords about environment as well. So I think first of all, for the airline industry, sustainability is really the key word and will play a very important role in the next 10 years. So SAF, what we say the sustainable aviation fuel. So this will help to increase the aviation industry and to reduce its emission in short and medium term. And however, currently there are still very limited low carbon and groundbreaking advancements in producing the sustainable aviation fuel. It is extremely expensive. And also the volume which is available is very limited. And I can make an example. So if today all the sustainable aviation fuel is only available to Lufthansa airline, it would last only for 5 days for our operation.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that means a lot of technologies needs to be developed, which are today either they are still in conceptual stages or have not yet gains necessary scalability. So one of the technology innovation which our group is doing is the collaboration with a company which is called Shanghai, and they are working with Swiss International Airlines, which is one of the Lufthansa Group subsidiary, and they are developing or they have developed a very unique technology to produce carbon neutral solar fuel from the sun energy. And if everything goes smoothly, we expect that Swiss International Airlines will be the first airline worldwide to already fly with this solar fuel in very near future. And besides, of course, the sustainable aviation fuel, I think achieving net zero aviation also requires alternative propulsion technologies. So what we can observe is hydrogen aircraft and also high density batteries show very good promises. However, I think a lot of innovation needs to happen until they can really achieve commercially safe operation as well as scalability. So therefore, I think innovation in the aviation industry in the next 10 years will be a lot around how to make airline flying more sustainable. And
looking forward.
Me too.
Wow, yeah, that sounds really interesting. A really good outlook. And China is also investing significantly in the aviation industry. We have otherwise only two big players, right? Boeing from the US and Airbus from France, I think. So now COMAC is coming up and is one example of that. How do you see the future of aviation made in China?
So as I mentioned before, so China will become the world's largest aviation market. And I can also see that the Chinese government has already invested since decades in the aviation industry, including airlines, airports, and aircraft manufacturing. And COMAC, as a company, it first developed a regional jet, which is called ARJ21. And this ARJ21 has already been in commercial usage since 2016. And this year in May, COMAC actually put the narrow-body passenger jet C919 into its maiden flight. And so I think both are very good examples of made in China for China. And I believe that COMAC will move towards mass production of this narrow-body passenger jets and to cater to domestic travel needs and also to reduce a bit dependency on Airbus and Boeing for their global delivery.
Yeah, so maybe in a couple of years also international travel will be possible on a Chinese airplane. So if that's the case, what is your favorite travel destination worldwide, personally, besides China and Germany?
Okay, so Thomas, I am really a true airliner and I like to travel a lot. And for me, it's really interesting to always explore new destinations. So talking about favorite destination, it is really difficult for me. But I think recently what I'm planning in winter is to plan another trip to Spain. For example, to visit cities like Barcelona, Madrid, Bilbao, and San Sebastian. And I think Spain is a country which provides a lot of rich history, a lot of culture activities, and excellent, of course, local foods, which are very important for the Asian travelers, and as well as very mild temperature in winter.
That sounds fantastic. I'm getting jealous. So, and if no Lufthansa flight were available, what would be your other airline of choice?
So, Damian, you're really asking a very interesting question. So it's very easy. So if there's no Lufthansa, I will for sure take Swiss International Airlines or Austrian Airlines or Brussels Airlines or Edelweiss or Eurowings.
I thought so.
Yeah. So because, Lufthansa is it's an airline group which diverse airline brands.
Yeah, and honestly speaking, everywhere you want to go, especially from Frankfurt or from Shanghai, you can go with Lufthansa. So this shouldn't be a big problem. Definitely not you can go to Spain very easily with Lufthansa or with the partners from Lufthansa.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. And Lufthansa is getting a new cabin upgrade in 2024, right? I heard.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit about this so we can look forward?
Yes, so what Damian has mentioned is about Allegris, which we will launch on Lufthansa flights starting from second half year next year. And it's very unique products produced only for Lufthansa Group cabin. And it's a very diverse product, which so our philosophy is to make customer have choice. So give back the possibility to choose to customers. For example, in the business cabin, we will have 7 different products to cater to different travel needs. And also for the first time, we will have in first cabin and also business cabin suites concept for both.
Oh, wow. Looking forward. So beginning from the second half of next year, we can make a little travel review either for my videos or for our podcast, Damian.
Exactly.
What do you think?
Yeah, but pick the right flights and the right airplanes. I think they will be upgraded one by one, right?
Yes, exactly. I will look forward to that. Yeah.
Good.
Okay, Qian Chen, thank you so much for being a guest in our podcast and for the very interesting insights from the last 3 years and from your career. And we're looking forward to have you back one time again. And I'm looking forward to come back to Shanghai and having dinner again with every one of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for being part. Excellent.
Kommen wir jetzt zu den News der Woche.
The employees of the VW Group will not be pleased about this news. Following the company's recent announcement to cut jobs in Germany, it has now published the hiring of 3,000 employees in China. This is reported by the New York Times. This decision is aimed at producing e-cars more cheaply and selling them on the Chinese market. China is not only the largest car market in the world. VW also does its biggest business here. The new motto, in China, for China. VW had been manufacturing its cars for the Chinese market in Germany for decades. Now it looks like VW's competitiveness needs to be increased due to the flooding of the Chinese market with electric cars. This development will be viewed critically in the group's hometown of Wolfsburg, as the workforce was only recently presented with cost-cutting plans. What do you think? Is this move unfair to the employees or a necessary step to remain competitive? Is VW giving up some of its made in Germany principles? Discuss with us on LinkedIn. Every opinion is welcome. And of course, don't forget, give us a positive feedback on your podcast provider if this episode has inspired you. And with that, the 2023 season comes to an end. Good night. Joking aside, we are taking a really short Christmas break and we will be back in 2024. We wish you and your loved ones a peaceful festival season, lots of presents and Happy New Year's. Cheers.